Welcome to the Piece of Me podcast, the place to find different ways to bring enjoyment, simplicity, happiness, and of course, more peace into your life. Life gets busy, noisy, and at times it's messy. I'm here to help you clean things up and put peace back in its place. Each episode, I'll share tips, ideas, and fresh perspectives to help you live your best life. Hi friends, it's Leigh. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. I'm so glad you'll be joining me for today's episode, which is all about getting better sleep. If you're like me, trying to chase those Z's and getting a really good night's rest so that you feel really refreshed the next day is kind of a goal I always have. I'm always working towards that goal. So I have for you 10 tips to hopefully help you get some better sleep. All right, so in no particular order, I'm just going to go through a few of these things that I'm implementing and ideas that I've gotten from other people on how to get better sleep. Okay, tip number 1, limit your caffeine. And if possible, just remove it from what you're drinking, especially when it comes to the afternoon. A lot of times we might want to reach for a coffee or an iced coffee to kind of get us through that afternoon slump. But if you're able to, go for decaf or drink a tea or anything else. And if you're going to drink something that would normally have caffeine in it, go for something that is caffeine free. Same thing goes with soda. If a diet soda, it has to say caffeine free on it, or it does contain caffeine. So just a little heads up that if you're drinking something and it doesn't say caffeine free, it probably has caffeine in it. So try to limit whatever it is you're drinking in the afternoon, because that will impact how awake you feel in the evening. And you obviously towards the evening, as you want to get that good night's rest, you want to start to be able to kind of slow down, shut down, and relax in the evening and not feel like you have all this energy that has to be used up. Okay, tip number 2. This is really important. This has helped me a lot, and that is setting up a good temperature in your sleeping environment. And actually, cooler is better. I know a lot of times, especially if it's winter or if it's cold where you live, we want to just naturally have warmth. But when we go to sleep, our bodies release a lot of heat as it is. And if we sleep in an environment that's just too warm, we actually won't sleep well. You might find yourself sweating or tossing and turning or throwing blankets off yourself, needing a fan sometimes. So the ideal temperature for sleeping is actually 67 degrees Fahrenheit. So you could even go a little bit cooler. And whatever, again, your sleep environment is, try to keep it nice and cool, because you can always add blankets. You can always sleep in more clothing, things like that. But your body actually needs a cooler environment. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3, stop drinking fluids a few hours before bed. And that's to help you limit the bathroom interruptions in the middle of the night. So in tip number 1, we talked about limiting the caffeine. But for tip number 3, it's just limiting the fluids so that you're not going to bed having drank too many fluids, because guess what happens? Yes, nature calls, and then we have to wake up in the middle of the night, interrupt that deep sleep that we're trying to get because we have to run to the bathroom. All right, tip number 4, if there's anything that's on your mind, and maybe there's something that is stressing you out, or it's a task you have to get done, or it's just something that's just kind of, it could be there's something going on at work, there's something going on in a friendship or with your partner, and it's just kind of, it's on your mind and you just kind of can't let it go. That would be something that maybe you take a few minutes to write it down. Write it in a journal, put it in your phone. So for example, if it's stuff that you have to do for the next day or in the next week, reminders that you're setting for yourself, try to write it down on a piece of paper or just put it in your phone. Put it in the notes section of your phone so that everything that you're trying to remember in your brain, you can put it in your phone. So now you've taken it off of your mental filing cabinet and you're putting it on your device so that tomorrow you can get to those things. Now, if it's actually something like bothering you and you feel like you need to kind of just, vent or decompress or kind of sort through or even process those feelings, journaling is a really great place to do that. So journaling before bed really helps you Focus on what it is you're feeling and put that pen to paper and help you decompress so that you're not going to bed with what's on your mind. All right, moving along. Tip number 5, do something relaxing before bed. I know that sounds silly, like duh, right? Do something relaxing, but sometimes what we do before bed that we might not realize isn't relaxing is what we wind up doing. So for example, if you watch a movie or a TV series or something that's keeping you on the edge of your seat as you're watching it, guess what? You are so just, you're anxious, it's suspenseful, and it just has you so kind of pulled into that show. And it's suspenseful. You're sitting on the edge of your seat wondering what's going to happen next, or if there's a cliffhanger in an episode. Now, guess what happens? Your brain, you're wondering, you're thinking about it, you're wondering what's going to happen next. And sometimes, even if you watch a scary movie, let's say, it's hard to decompress from that because your brain is now kind of on overload thinking about the scenario, and your heart might be racing a little bit, and that's not really a relaxing activity. So if you're trying to get that good night's rest, give yourself that time before bed to have relaxing time. It could be something simple. You could do a puzzle. I know people like to do, things on paper. Like I have a girlfriend who loves to do word searches, like the crossword puzzles, things like that. There's a lot of other things you can do that's more quiet. But if there is something that might get you kind of worked up, even like working out, like something physical, that tends to keep us awake. Now, everyone's different, but again, maybe not doing those things before bed, but finding another time during the day to do those things so that your nighttime is more decompressing for yourself and helps you relax and get into that better sleep. All right, number 6, being okay with going to bed before your partner. Now, this one I think is one that we don't think a lot about, but what we do a lot of times, not all the time, but oftentimes our routine will mimic the same routine of our partner. We will eat together. We will run to the store together maybe. Our going to bed and waking up times might be the same as our partner because, we're trying not to maybe interrupt their sleep, or, we tend to do the same things together. So without even realizing it, if your partner has or requires a different amount of sleep than you do, and you're trying to match the same routine as your partner, again, going to bed at the same time or waking up at the same time as them, that could be contributing to why you feel so tired. Your partner might need less sleep than you, so they might be able to go to bed at midnight and get up at 7 a.m. and be ready to go. But if you require more sleep than that, you might need to go to bed at 10 or 9. So really just thinking about being okay with, saying to your partner, hey, I need to go to sleep. I need to rest, I need to relax, and being okay with that. Sometimes it can feel a little weird to have separate bedtimes, but it's all for you. It's all for your health and getting you that good night's sleep so you feel really good the next day. Okay, number 7, use a sound machine. These are really great. These are kind of like those white noise machines, anything that if you're susceptible to noises outside of your bedroom, if a door is opening, or there's, if you live in a busy part of town, you might hear traffic or people outside of your apartment, let's say. So if you're one of those people who can be a light sleeper, investing in a sound machine, I highly recommend. I use one every night, and it just helps to it almost sounds like a fan, and it's just, it kind of just blurs out the sounds in the background to help me sleep better. You can get them almost anywhere, and they don't take up a lot of room. You can travel with them as well. And if you don't want to buy one, you can actually go onto YouTube and search for white noise sounds and actually play it on your phone. Just make sure you keep your phone charging as you do this, because it's going to run for several hours in the night. But if you just play that off of YouTube, you could have 7-8 hours of white noise and not even need to get a sound machine. Okay, we're moving right along. Tip number 8. Now, speaking of cell phones and charging your cell phone, if you do charge your cell phone next to you while you sleep, make sure that you take the face of your cell phone and turn it upside down, meaning the screen is now facing the top of your nightstand or your dresser or a table so that you can't see it. the whole idea behind this is that sometimes when cell phones are charging, or even if you're getting a notification while you're sleeping, like say an email comes in or you get something through social media, your phone will light up because it's received a notification. Well, if you're trying to sleep, sometimes those bright lights will be disruptive to your sleep. Same thing with sound. So before you go to bed, you might want to set your phone on a mute all or some type of setting where you could even do vibrate if you prefer, but something where your phone is not going to constantly be alerting you to emails or text messages, so that you can get that really good night's rest. Okay, tip number 9. This one's also important because it sounds simple, but it's true. Adjust your sleep as needed. So you might have to decide how much sleep you actually need, and you might need more or even less than what you're currently getting so that you feel refreshed. Meaning this, if you sleep one night and you sleep, say, 10 hours, if you're lucky enough to get 10 solid hours of sleep, awesome. But you might find that you actually feel more tired, and maybe you slept too much. So maybe you have to say, okay, if I can't do 10, maybe it's 9. Maybe the sweet spot is 8. Maybe it's 7. So kind of play around with what that number of hours are going to look like for you so that you don't feel like you've slept too much or that you've slept too little. So adjust it as needed. Okay, and now tip number 10, we get to the end here. This is something that's all about what you can do now to set yourself up for a really good tomorrow. So one of my more downloaded episodes is the episode around simplifying your morning routine. And a lot of in that episode, what we talk about is what can we do the night before so we set ourselves up for a really good next morning? Because mornings are hectic, right? They're busy. There's usually a lot of things we're trying to do in a very short amount of time. And if we live with other people, that can complicate that situation even further. If there's children, if we have roommates, if we have partners, we're all going to the fridge. We're all trying to take a shower. We're all trying to get out the door at the same time. It can be hectic. So having a good night's rest means knowing that when you wake up in the morning that you feel refreshed and you don't have to feel that frantic rush to get out of bed, to go do all those things that you have to do. Because let's just say you sleep great and you feel good, but then when you wake up and you realize, oh my gosh, I didn't pack lunches for the kids. Oh my gosh, the clothes I'm supposed to wear today are still in the dryer and they need 20 more minutes to dry, or whatever it is. Now, it doesn't even matter how well you slept because all you can think about is, I have all these things I didn't do, and now you're starting your day on the wrong foot. So tip number 10 is what can you do the night before so that your morning is easier on you? So what is it that you can do the night before to make things just easier? Again, is it, preparing for lunches for the next day or even breakfast? Is there stuff you can do so that the morning following this great night of rest is also easy so that it feels good in the morning? You don't have that crazy rushed feeling. So before you go to sleep and have that really good night's rest that we're aiming for, what do you need to do that next morning? Is there anything you can do the night before so it makes it easier on you? Simple things, like I said, of getting your fitness clothes out for the next morning. If you work out first thing, get those clothes out first thing in the morning. And it could be everything from getting the socks out and the sneakers to the clothes, top and bottom, every single piece, the hair tie, etc. Get everything out because you don't want to be missing something. Or is it something for your pets? Do you have to walk your dog, feed a cat, feed an animal? Is there anything in either food that you can have their food dish done and prepared and it's in the fridge? So all you have to do is grab it. Is there anything that someone else in the family can help you do? Or someone else in your living environment, can they help you do? A roommate, can they help do something in the morning to take it off your plate? So anything you can do the night before so that your morning doesn't feel rushed will just help you. Because just imagine this. You sleep wonderful and your morning goes smoothly. I mean, doesn't that just really set you up for a great day? And that's the whole goal. So whatever you can do to make life easier on you will make sure that your mornings are more peaceful, we're simplifying things, and we're just making the most of what we have. So I hope this episode has helped you. If it has, please share it with someone you know, and I look forward to talking to you in the next episode. Thanks again for joining me today. If this episode has helped you or can help someone you know, please share it with them. Stay safe and we'll chat again soon.